today's Next Generation Forum. My name is Norifumi Hida. Well, I'm a co-facilitator of the Next Generation program. So today we want to discuss with next generation people. We want to discuss how can theater for young audiences help to overcome child poverty. So let me share my PowerPoint slide. So Next Generation Open Public Forum 2. How can theater for young audiences help to overcome child poverty? So the content of this forum is, first of all, I want to introduce the next generation participant this time. After that, I want next generation participants to explain child poverty in their country. Do you see any child poverty, or what is your image, their images of child poverty? After that, I want, because at this moment we have three, including me, 4 next geners. Probably 3 groups. I will create 3 groups. So I want to divide all people into 3 groups, and each group discuss what theater can do in order to overcome child poverty. At the same time, if possible, it depends on how many time we have. Based on the discussion, each group, I want each group try to create a kind of manifesto. We can use theater in order to child poverty in a way, blah, 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 for example. This is a structure of this forum. Now, well, because this forum, we wanted to invite Japanese audience, but sometimes Japanese people are not good at speaking English. So in that case, we have a spontaneous interpreter as well. So if I see any Japanese, I might, we don't see any Japanese at this moment, but I mean, English, Japanese may take place. Well, before that, I want to talk about what is next generation, because some of the audience here are not familiar with the next generation program. So the next generation residency program is a professional development group program designed to support artistic and cultural networking, exchange, and collaboration between young and emerging artists within festival and other international settings. And we often watch shows and attend seminar forums together. And very importantly, we eat, we drink together, and we do a lot of talk, and we develop friendship. But unfortunately, this time we can't do this in person, face to face. But we still try to create such atmosphere, such a feeling through personal energy sessions. So let's see what next generation program is like a little bit. I need to share the sound as well. This is the next generation program in 2014. Thank you. And this year, we have a 40 participants, including me, 15 participants from 11 countries. Usually host country, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 Japanese participants, NG participants, and usually host country has have more NG people. And today we have in this session forum, we have Jen, Lin, Myung-hee, who else? So 3 people. Well, we have as I said, we have 14 energy people. However, because of the time gap, it's sometimes they sometimes have difficult to join the sessions. But fortunately, we have 3 people here. So Lin, Jen, Myung-hee, could you introduce yourself to audiences? So let's start from Jen. Jen is also a co-facilitator. She facilitates next gen sessions, and she actually attended last next generation program as well.
Thank you so much, Nari. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us and have this wonderful, engaging conversation around theatre and making theatre for children who are experiencing poverty. My name is Jane Batsoffen. I am a theatre maker, 3rd generation white South African. My interests are particularly directing, dramaturgy, and stage and costume design. As Nori did mention, I was incredibly privileged to be part of the next generation in 2019 in Norway in Kristiansand. And we had the most amazing experience. And both myself and James were chosen to be the alumni for the Next Generation program. And the idea with that is that we take the knowledge and the way that it was structured from last experience, and we bring it into the new Next Generation cohort. And as we all know, those plans changed, and the look and forum had to change, and how we connected had to change. And we moved it online. And there are absolutely challenges in doing that and connecting everyone across the globe in sessions, and also acknowledging that everyone is not able to commit full time to this program. So they're still doing their jobs on the sides, or, you know, trying to just live. Which I think we all resonate with at the moment. So yeah, we're doing the best. And I think for James and myself, absolutely what we've been thinking of is how do we just create moments of connection with each other? Because this is really the idea about the Next Gen program, is that you're potentially finding future collaborators in the room and ways of expanding on your own thinking by meeting new creatives and their methods or ways of making. And I like to hope and think that even in our few sessions together, we are creating those moments of connection. So thank you very much, Nari. And then I will pass on to Lynn.
Okay, hi, hello everyone. Thank you, Jane. My name is, my full name is Phạm Trang Mỹ Linh, but I also go by Ling or Valerie. I am an experimental theater and puppetry artist based in Hanoi, Vietnam. And besides my own personal practice, I am also the artistic director of Machan Ensemble, which is a performing arts collective with a focus on inclusive and socially engaged practices. We're also an all-female ensemble. Yes, and I'm just, I guess, acknowledging everything that Jane has said so far, and adding a unfortunate news, which is that I have to leave in an hour or so to have a 4 p.m. meeting, also a Zoom meeting. So yes, to trying to juggling a schedule between, what's going on in real life and well, this is real life, but virtually. Okay, thank you so much. Passing on to Myung-hee.
Hi, thank you, Lynn. Nice to meet you. I'm Myung-hee Go from South Korea. I was the member of the Korean Theatrical Company Booktellers Guild. Today, did you see that the Princess Pyeonggang Ondalpool in online program? I co-create the work, and also I was a premiere actress of it. So I am happy to see again the performance in here again. So now I'm freelance actress. As a solo performance artist, I write and direct a play like a singer-songwriter of a theater. Also, I'm a Korean Sign Language interpreter. So I'm interested in the inclusivity of the theater. Actually, when there were Congress in Poland and South Africa, I went and I saw many performances, so moved. Now I participated as a NG. So I'm happy to meet you, everybody. Thank you to join us.
Thank you, Jane, Lin, Myung-hee. And now, let's slide. Okay. So I want to talk about child poverty. And according to UNICEF, 1 billion children worldwide are multidimensionally poor without access to education, health, housing, nutrition, sanitation, or water. And 356 million children are living in extreme poverty, forecast to survive on less than $1.90 a day. Another one, children are more than twice as likely to live in poverty than adults. So children from the poorest households die at twice the rate of their better off peers. Well, I'm aware of child poverty, but I felt like that's happened something from something in other country in Japan, not in Japan. However, if I look at some researches, I found so Japan's rate of child poverty is above OECD average. Overall, the rate has been rising since the 1980s, and today 1 in 7 children lives in poverty. This was really shocking, and and if I look at other advanced countries, well, you still see child poverty. And I started to think artists and the new generation of artists, next geners, need to think about this, because this is not decreasing, rather I think it is increasing. But how theater for young audiences can do that, that is my question. Now, yes, I just say child poverty, but what is your image? Well, actually, do you see any child poverty in your country? If you don't see, or if you are not familiar with that, what is your image of child poverty? I want to ask this question. First of all, I want to ask this question to the 3 next geners here. And then I want to hear from other audiences if possible. Do you have any, can anyone, next geners, can anyone talk about this? Can you, do you have any ideas?
I will speak to that, Nari. So coming from South Africa, that is often considered a third world country. Yes, poverty is on our doorstep. And it's quite interesting. We're one, especially, so I stay in Cape Town, and Cape Town is quite an interesting city. Very much, I've heard similar dynamics to Brazil, you know, in terms of there's the incredibly wealthy, like the ridiculously wealthy, literally neighbors with the destitute and the extreme poor. And it's really a weird space that you can move so fluidly between the two. I also, because of my personal experience, so I've worked since 2012 with an organization called Clowns Without Borders. It's an international organization trying to bring relief and laughter and joy to communities in crisis. There is a South African chapter, so I've worked with them a lot, and I've had again, I keep saying it's a privilege, right? Because it's a privilege to travel across the world and meet different people, and particularly children in poverty situations. So in 2019, I was actually in South Sudan. So I've been very close and lived in communities of extreme poverty, and I have also been there to bring joy and works, and I'm happy to talk about that later more. But poverty is on the doorstep, and it's just during this time, especially with COVID, it's just even more tangible, and I would almost say the energy is quite violent in the poverty at the moment.
Thank you very much, Jen. It's interesting to say, I mean, you said you brought joy of work to these people in South Sudan, did you say? I want to hear that later. How about Myeonhee or Lin? Do you have can you talk or? Myeonhee, now you can talk.
Actually, I think it's difficult for me to say exactly the Korean children's poverty to me. I think maybe other Korean aspect people in here in Korea speak better. But in my experience and meeting the children, I meet many children in the library or very little school in rural spot. I think the poverty is not just itself; it connected many other problems. For example, a single parent family or disability, violent, or many foreign country children. Yeah, it connected many problems. So I think we have to think together of the problem with poverty. And then when I meet children, I don't know, it's right, children in poverty, but yeah, when I meet them, it's not theater. Generally, it's very it's outside parking lot or a very little library or just a center, small center like. I feel when I'm sorry, my English is very slow, and please understand. When they heard we are coming there, they wait whole day us. And I feel the space, for example, the library or the center can be their playground and also can be their parent house. Yeah. So after the performance, they stay there long time because in their house there's no others to give some help to them. So I had many conversations with them after performance. So of course I'm actress, but when I met them, I can be their friend or in their story. I think another story or education or performance that I want to tell other people. Actually, I couldn't organize or I think, but it's my image and experience.
Thank you very much. In Japan, we also have you mentioned single mother or single father family. And even in Japan, there are increasing number of single father or mother family. And children in these families are always alone. So one of the issues is how we can bring such children to theater or any arts activity. This is something we always discuss in Japan right now. Thank you. And Lin, how about you?
Yeah, so I think I shared Myung-hee's sentiments about. I think I always feel like I always feel nervous when put in a situation where I'm supposed to represent my entire country in an international forum, especially when it comes to topics that I'm not an expertise in. But I can share from my own experience and observations. So, but just a heads up that this is only my observations and stories. I myself personally, and as a member of Machan Ensemble, I have experience working closely with communities of ethnic minorities in Vietnam. And I think most people from international communities doesn't know this about Vietnam, that it is in fact a very diverse country with many different ethnic groups and cultures. So in 2019, my ensemble, we did a national tour across Vietnam, visiting 6 different communities, most of which are communities of ethnic minorities. So performing and doing workshops for children, young people, and adults, because we didn't perform in the theater, but just it's a lot of different. It's either community house, personal house, private homes, schools. So we gather quite a diverse group of audience. And I think in certain areas, child poverty can be seen visibly and can be easily defined. I think things like health, education, water and sanitation, poverty, I think can be easily defined, but there are other problematic areas, gray areas to be judged by Western civilization standards. So things like shelter or child work, poverty, I think some of the indications can can be worth a second opinion or considerations, because we have different cultural contexts and backgrounds. Something are considered unacceptable in certain cultures, but it totally makes sense in a specific group of community or group of people, you know, living together. So I think there's a lot to talk about, but I don't know how we can begin to have these conversations. It's just I'm just babbling and sharing from what I've seen, witnessed, or thought about during our mine and the ensemble's experience of working with young people, performing for them, and sharing the same roof with them for a month. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear more from maybe 2 or 3 people from audiences. After that, we are going to have a breakout sessions, and you can still talk. You can still introduce your child property in your country in your group. But for now, let's pick up 2 or 3 more people. Can anyone talk about this? If you don't mind.
I can, if you want, I can tell a bit. I'm from Germany. I'm not a next generation, but I'm interested in the next generation. And Germany, you know, it's a first world country, but there exists also child poverty. I'm not a specialist for the whole Germany, but I can say in my town, you said every 5th child is living in child poverty. And it's a 500,000 people town. So that's a lot of children. And I think all you told, the children here are missing also perhaps not water we have enough, but every other things, something to eat, and very important thing is they can't participate in culture, and we know how important it is to let them participate in culture, in theater or other styles of culture. So that's a small impression from Germany I can give you, and in a smaller group I can tell more. Even what we try to do against this, we have some projects and programs how we can invite children to can participate in culture in Germany. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I mean, my image of Germany is, you know, you provide a lot of art to children, but I mean, now I understand it's still strongly connected to how to improve child poverty. So, well, impressive. Good to hear from you about it. Thank you. And now, fortunately, Rebecca, I can find another next generation person, Rebecca. Rebecca, can you show yourself? Hello. So can you introduce yourself to audiences? That's first thing. The second, if possible, can you talk about child poverty in your country? If you see any child poverty, can you do that?
Okay. Good morning from Nigeria. My name is Rebecca Mawulome Padonu from Nigeria. I'm a dramaturg, a children's theater facilitator, and also a drama teacher with the university, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. I'm very much interested in CYA, and currently I'm doing my master's research on aggressive behavior in children. So I'm using CYA as a tool to actually investigate the effects and the causes of aggressive behavior in children. And I'm working with orphanages in Nigeria. So if I'm to talk about children poverty here, I would be talking from the angle of out of school children, children who are hawking, children who are on the streets begging. Fortunately, I am based in northern Nigeria, where we have the highest population of out of school children in Nigeria, and if not in Africa. There are millions of them on the streets. Basically, on daily basis, we go out to see children between the ages of 7 and 13 who are supposed to be in school, but they are on the streets. They are begging for alms. I don't know if you're familiar with the word Al-Majiri system. The Al-Majiri system is a system of traditional Islamic education where children are moved from one part of northern Nigeria to another to work under an Islamic cleric and learn about Islam, about Islamic education. But somehow it has been diluted and bastardized. So these children do not go to Western school. You see them on the streets begging for food, for alms, and they basically do not go to school when their mates are in school. We see lots of them on the streets on daily basis. Of course, the Nigerian government, especially Kaduna State government, where I am working and living, they are doing a lot to repatriate these children back to where they come from and to educate them. In fact, they have put thousands of them in school, although it's an ongoing process, it's an ongoing development. There are still some of them on the streets, but there has been improvements for a while. So we do performances for such children here. Sometimes when we see them around, when we have community theater, children's theater performances, when we start singing, we start dancing and telling stories, they will gather around and then we would use the opportunity to tell them about the importance of education, why you need to go to school. We will act it out with drama. But I can tell of the truth that where I am in northern Nigeria, the rate of out of school children, of children's poverty is very high. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. It is interesting to hear Rebecca mentioned that in your country, theater is used to let them know the importance of education. This is something, one of the things theater can do, I think. And well, a little bit, let me talk about in Japan. So now I'm working at college called the Professional College of Tourism and Art in Toyooka. I'm not in Tokyo, I'm in Toyooka. And one of the regional characteristics of Toyooka is that the relative poverty rate of single mother family is higher than the other area of Japan. And we had the university and this city did some questionnaire, and then the answer, we got some answer like number one, 26.9% was about, they said it's hard it's about cost of living. The second one was education for the child. They really worry about the quality and how our children can access education. And also number three, their parents also said like, because single mother or single father family, they always work, and they couldn't really have a time to spend their children. And also number 4, family health and long-term care. Like single mother, single father family, they still have a grandfather and grandmother. As single mother, the work, at the same time, they need to look after their parents. This is happening, so they really worry about that. And also their health. So Toyoka City decided to support the development of children's quality and ability by including academic ability. And Toyoka City really decided to develop non-cognitive skill, because non-cognitive skill also related to academic ability. So, but how we can do that? The city asked our college, like, can you provide communication education using drama in order to improve, develop non-cognitive skills for lower grade of elementary school. So local artists go to school, or our college send professors or artists to school to do drama lessons. I guess in your country, you have or your theater company may have a way to improve such child poverty. Now I'm going to create 3 groups, breakout session. Can you talk about how well, first of all, can you introduce yourself to your friend in your group? Second, well, next Jenna now briefly, and also Andrea talked about child poverty in their countries, but I mean other people hasn't spoken yet. So let's share what's going on in other country. After that, how can we, what theater can do? Let's discuss what theater can do in order to overcome child poverty. Can you, any question? Okay, so let's do breakout room. I see a lot of interesting discussion took place. So now I want each group to introduce what you have discussed. So first, which group should we go first? Myung-hee, your group, can anyone from your group introduce what you have discussed? Myung-hee's group, from Myung-hee's group? Someone?
Maybe my group is
Myung-hee, it's muted. Can you make it unmute?
sorry. I mean, my group is Jane's group. So
yeah, Jane's group.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, Jane.
Sure, I can speak to it. Very, very grateful for all the shared experiences in the group and the sharings that happened around it. Some of the members had to leave and apologized for doing that. A wealth of experiences and different engagements with this idea of childhood poverty, and also just acknowledging that poverty meant different things. And are we talking about poverty on which scale and whose scale of poverty? So people maybe who are considered poor to Western maybe standards or financial standards are very rich, and don't experience themselves this idea that they're poor. Also very interesting, the conversations from different countries, from different people who live in different countries, around this idea of the invisible poverty. That was actually quite a big part of our discussion, is this awareness that poverty was around, but it wasn't visibly seen. And also speaking to the people who from different countries who say that their governments are aiding in different ways already. So for example, education is provided, and within the school food is provided. So basic human needs are met to a certain level. But again, those are the children who are in the schools. So there is that, as they mentioned, this invisible poverty that is unseen for the children who aren't in school. Again, speaking to the need for the arts and how do we take the arts into different spaces to reach out to these communities? I spoke personally about the ethics of what does it mean to be an artist, to go into a space once off to provide arts, and whether that's more beneficial or less beneficial, especially when we're dealing with children in severe situations, both financially and emotionally and physically, in very abusive and yeah, destitute kind of situations. If anyone would like to add to my summary, I would like to invite you to please do that. But really grateful for the wealth of discussion that was had there. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move to the another group. Rebecca, Rebecca's group, someone from Rebecca's group, can you introduce what you have discussed?
Okay, I would say a bit of what we discussed, and other people can then add.
Yeah,
all right. So basically, having understood or recognized that we have children poverty, we have children who are poor. Of course, there are different levels of poverty. Then the group actually discussed a lot about how we can then use theater, use drama to address poverty. Someone mentioned that drama in schools should not just be about the technicals, teaching acting, teaching lighting, but that drama should be used to promote creativity, should be used to promote uniqueness and confidence and leadership in children so they can take hold of themselves. Also, someone mentioned that drama is good because it teaches how to think and not what to think. So it basically means that it's not seeing these children, although they are in this situation, doesn't see them as a tabula rasa, as the fact that their minds are plain, they don't know anything and just want to pour into them, but that they should just show them the way and make them relax and give them the safe space and give them the platform for them to relax and feel confident in themselves and then think for themselves. Also, we mentioned about collaboration. We say for us to measure the efficiency, the efficacy of drama or theater for your audience in addressing poverty, children's poverty to be specific, we need to collaborate with other platforms, with other interventions, with other people. So yes, theater will give the safe space, it will give the platform for children to recognize the need for education. That we see that, oh, children my age are in school and I need to be there too. So we see the importance of education to say, oh, if I have to be like that person in future, then I need education. But if all we do is just stop at that, then we have not addressed it really. So we need to collaborate. We need to incorporate a lot of other intervention. For instance, we could collaborate with someone who is having an intervention on education for, let's say, out of school children, and the person is taking children from the streets to school. So our theater would just be the avenue to mobilize, to bring the children together, while the other one would, the end would then be that they get back to school. That's where theater will be efficient. Also, we mentioned that there should be a bridge. Drama and theater is a bridge between formal and informal education. And of course, we can see it from what we practice. Someone mentioned specifically that our educational system is very technical and competitive. Therefore, he mentioned something about social capital. where we need drama to come around, people networking, people working together, people depending on one another to actually develop, especially children. Finally, we mentioned theater for versus theater by children, and we acknowledge that we need children to do theater. We need to engage children to talk about their experiences, whatever they're going on, whatever their definition of poverty. However, we also need theater makers, adults, to act, to do theater for children, to act, to perform for children, because basically that is how the children can learn about cultural integration and much more. There is a level to which children are they're vast and well read, but because adults are more read than they are, they can, by that means of performing to the children, even teach them more. However, even adults can learn from children, because someone mentioned that children love to play while adults are even forgetting how to play. And then we finally mentioned that it is actually good that we do theater with children, because it allows for dynamics of learning, of creating even more fruitful outcome. When you work with children, you make them relax, and you make them have this confidence in themselves. And we mentioned specifically that if we allow children to do theater by children, maybe it would be in some more formal spaces. For instance, if you go to refugee camps, you go to IDPs, you meet children on the streets, they don't necessarily have the skills to do anything. They may not even know how to start, but by the time we work with them, adults, our theater makers actually work with them and make them feel relaxed and just act with them, perform with them, then they learn the ropes, they just learn the basic things they need, and from there, they take it up. So basically, we discussed things and more. I don't know if someone from the group wants to add one or two things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm quite happy you said you distinguish theater by for with, because Astage, well, we have in some country, you have a drama education and drama teacher teach drama, but Astage is more place more focused on artists to give performances to children, because that's why Astage is an organization of theater for young audiences. Rather, recently they changed the word. Actually, they say theater for young people, so including drama exercise as well. Theater by children. But that's because recent performance includes a lot of child participation, I guess. But in terms of, well, can anyone say more about, if a stage is more focused on theater for young audience, professional artists to give performance to child audience? Well, in that case, children usually keep watching show, but sometimes maybe child participate in some part of performance but in terms of theater for young audience, how we can change them in terms of child poverty? I'm not clear what I'm talking about, but I want to more focus on how artists, not as a drama teacher, not as a theater facilitator and invite young people, let's create a performance. I'm not talking about that, but giving a performance, audience, child audience watch show. But how can we change them? Do you have any idea about that in terms of child poverty?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry.
Hands up, who can go first? Anyone?
Yeah, go on then. You go.
Okay.
Harry.
You sure? Okay. Yeah, I think that something quite interesting is the well-being of the children and the ability for children to kind of take themselves out of their situation, that their life that they might be living in, which could be quite difficult, and putting them into a situation which helps them see the world in a different way and learn that how they're living isn't the only way to live. And I think children, they don't know that, right? They're being raised in this environment, and that's all they know, and that's all they learn to know. And when they become our age, that's how they direct themselves. That's how their brain's been wired to think, and that's a lot of trauma is the same acts in the same way. Your brain, just psychologically speaking, your brain kind of creates these defense mechanisms in order to survive, and then as you go into independence and self-awareness, your logical mind kind of takes you with that learning that you did as a child. And I think that can be theatre can be incredibly influential in that circumstances. I mean, even if it was theatre once a week in the same low economic area, and it taught positive theatre and gave interesting stories and really promoted that imagination and that enriched that child's experiences, I think that would really change a child's ability to see a different way of life that isn't how they've been, that isn't how they're being raised, and how the poor situation they have been born into. Or I hope that's not insensitive, but yeah, that's what I meant. I meant that in the best way possible. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much. Tak Tak, you wanted to say something?
Thank you. I think different countries have different situations. Some maybe more rich, maybe more subsidized, can grow faster to make the children poverty problem go more quick. But some country may have to take time, may have to take very long time. Because
nicht ganz.
Can you mute? Peter, can you mute?
Yeah, okay, danke. Yeah.
I think some countries have to be patient. I'm not giving advice. I just think that maybe some situations have to go very, very long, have to be very patient to do art or spread art education. If the country have a more serious children poverty problem, such as if the personal safety or children would be raped or have personal issues to be attacked or anything, I think children's safety is the first priority. Rather than we insist doing art or anything, if there is a very big financial problem, or safety problem, I think that go first. So I in my group, I was asking some countries organizer, do your country have martial art kind of? Can we mix the very basic activity with the arts together to make the arts more useful, more practical, that can make the country or education system can digest more quick about what is art education. And also, I think many activities have same track, like theater art and kind of martial art or visual arts, or just a very simple collaboration or just children games. They have a very similar core value, that is collaboration, empathy. For theater, is more creativity. I think most of them can find a very same elements inside. There is a core value. The empathy is core value. The creativity is core value for change the poverty of children, because now we are going to AI, artificial intelligence, many digital ghost computer, they don't have empathy, they don't have creativity. If we have to get more financially rich or mindfully rich, empathy, creativity, can change our, how to say, financial situation, or the critical thinking can protect the children to be more, I cannot say rich, that is a kind of financial growth to against the world, to make it, how to say, yeah, to make the poverty can go less, because something, a human ability will go up and cannot be replaceable. Yes, but have to take time to do that. I'm not sure I can deliver what I'm saying. I'll just try to say out.
Well, understandable. Understandable. Thank you very much. We have now, before going to, I know I'm aware Rebecca hands up, but before that, Claudia, you put your word on the chat. Can you talk about that? My pronunciation may be not, but Claudia, sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm multitasking. Someone sent an urgent email,
Okay.
so my apologies. I missed that. Can you? Is it about what I put in the chat?
Yes. Can you talk
yes,
about?
So, one of the feelings I have, and it's personal. I don't speak on behalf of Ireland in this case, but I'm wondering if there needs to be a kind of a two-prong approach to addressing the issue, because sometimes you can be putting a plaster on a wound by sending artists into an area and everybody feels good that something is being done. But if that's not measured in the language of the government, if it's not measured in statistics and a report and the kind of language they speak in the government offices every day, then it gets lost in a sea of wonderful artistic inventions that don't have an impact on paper for the government. So the impact is lost. And the work is really, really valuable in every situation where there is poverty, whether that's financial or, physical or cultural. The work needs to be documented. And so I think we as an artistic group can only address child poverty with an impact if we work in partnership with a group maybe that can advocate to a government on a higher level. This is why we need it. And it's, there's no artist company that I can think of that has the time to do that. So we need to build bridges with organizations that would put this information together and make sure that we're sending photographs, we're sending numbers, we're sending statistics of what we're doing, no matter how small, and stories about the impact of what we're doing to begin with. If we really want, because I don't think child poverty can be solved in any way by arts. I really feel it has to be, it really has to come from a government support or a government support of NGOs in your country. And that's not the case in every country. So yeah, it's just something I'm thinking about, building those bridges between bigger organizations and artists. And I don't mean them funding you to go and do art with children working on the street. It's more about collecting the information to raise the interest, to say, oh my gosh, that does have an impact. Wow, okay. And that's what's really important. The person I'm thinking of who did this many years ago, I forget her surname, but her name is Suzanne, in Scotland. And she came to Cork and she delivered to our politicians a report on how important it is to begin early years arts if you want to prevent crime later. And I found that way of thinking very useful, and that document went to everyone, and we did manage to create funding programs, sustainable funding programs from that kind of a way of thinking about it. So I think this is what needs to be done. You know, we need to look at where is the child poverty, what assistance is coming from the government, and if none, then how do we help them to understand, rather than fighting against them or saying we get no assistance ever. Like, maybe there's a way we can try to approach it using their language to make it more visible. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yes, thank you very much. Well, your talk reminds me like long time ago I had a moment like you can talk in front of in front of us. One child say one child in front of me said, "You can talk about art, but I need money for today's food."
Yeah.
Thank you. Rebecca, then Peter also put some information on chat. So first of all, Rebecca, but after that, I want to ask Peter to talk about your information. Rebecca, I'm aware you hands up. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So in fact, I had it in mind to begin from what you just said. You know, it's like erecting, you're doing a WASH program, that's a water and sanitation and hygiene program in a community. And then you erect water, and the water is meant to wash the baby's hands, wash the children's hands. And the children don't want to wash their hands because they are thirsty. They haven't drank water the whole day. So they go there and just do like this and drink the water. So you going there with that program, you've gone there to give water for them to wash hands, but they are drinking the water because it is not effective. That is not what they want. So we may stand here all day and be acting and be performing and be telling children, you know, about poverty, about illiteracy and how to go back to school, but they really won't get into school, and that won't put them directly in school, which is why I love the words of the last speaker about bringing on CSOs, NGOs, and government. I'll be bringing up points from yesterday's forum where we spoke about intergenerational engagement. So when you engage children, you don't just stop at engaging children, you engage everyone that has to do with their development, and starting from their parents. So you have to find a way to engage the parents, to engage the wards. If it is on educational platform, you have to engage the teachers. You have to engage everyone who can come in contact with the children, and of course, finally with the government, because they are the ones who have the statistics. Yeah, so I won't take this so long. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Peter, could you talk about your information you put on chat, in the chat?
Sure. I hope it's interesting and relevant for everyone. And Cleodna, is that right? Cleodna? Cleana, sorry, Cleana.
It's okay.
I understand very much your point, and that's kind of like a very, very important that we sort of address politics with hidden politics. But my relationship to this topic right now is the fact that we spent a lot of time last year developing and devising a play which was about inequality and about poverty for children. And of course, we're in Germany, and I think for the outside world, maybe everyone thinks, oh, Germany is rich, a rich country, and everyone's well off, and there's a good standard of living. And this is to a certain extent true, but there is also a lot of poverty, and there's a huge gap between rich and poor, and there is a huge diversity that comes up in schools. And we do plays in English for school children, and we decided to do a play on this theme of poverty and child poverty, inequality. And if anyone wants to look at it, it's I think there's definitely a clip of the play, a film clip on our website, and information about the play on our website. And if anyone wants to look at it and contact me about it. We did a lot of research it really is, my conclusion is a little bit that, you know, the gap between rich and poor is ever increasing. There's all these, and it's happening more and more, that the rich are accumulating money. They have more than they need. They don't know what the hell to do with it. And the poor are getting poorer. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It seems to be really true. But I still think it's a valuable thing, Claudina, to sort of put on plays about this, because maybe it can make the kids in their own situation, when the kids come to our play. Unfortunately, we only did the play once or twice because of the lockdown, because we're in lockdown. So, but I think the thing was that the kids would be sensitized to this situation. As we developed the play, we went into the actors' own stories, into their lives, and discovered that we had stories of this inequality in our own lives, and of this poverty, experiencing of poverty through the fact, a very simple fact. For example, you know, one kid comes to school with a school lunch that's rather, has a lot of variety in the school lunch. It's kind of, he gets it delivered, you know, and the other kid gets a sandwich with a little bit of nothing in it. You know, it's in the school lunch thing, you know, you can see a contrast between rich and poor. And we tried to sort of find examples which the kids could relate to, and describe this story. So have a look at the website, have a look at the information about the play. You can also look on our website. We have a little bit about preparation material, and there's probably will be a scene in there about the play. And if anyone wants to contact me, I'll put my email there too, if anyone wants direct contact and to ask about anything about the play. So that's it.
Thank you very much. And last, well, usually in this session, in this forum, I'm thinking to create, through the discussion, after all of this discussion, I want to create a kind of a pledge or manifesto. I can overcome child poverty with theater in a way, blah, 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 for example, or theater has a power to do, to promote creativity, to develop creativity in children, which change children's life. For example, in this way, can you make small short sentence and create your own manifesto, if you don't mind? And then can you put that on chat? Can you do that? And I will take 5.
My manifesto?
Well, no, all of you who are here.
Okay.
Is that okay? And the next genres, 5-10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, like yesterday's session, I will ask what you have learned from this section, because the main focus of this forum is on you, next genres. I wanted to introduce this next, emergent artist in this time. Tak, thank you. The theater space to public in Hong Kong, which is free of charge. So I will take maybe, well, you can keep writing, but when we come to, in my local time, 6:50, I will ask next generation people to talk about what you have learned from this session. Oh, well, okay, Jane. So Myung-hee and Rebecca, I will ask. Thank you. Yeah. But I just want to introduce, there is actually another next, she said she can speak, she can only listen, but here there is another next generation person, I can't pronounce her name, but Gazara Marsoli, see? She is also next generation person. For example, well, in someone's session, someone mentioned cultural capital. Pierre Bourdieu's socialist, his concept of cultural capital. So I will write like a theater has a power to develop cultural capital, which helps children to overcome child poverty. Mm. Ah, that's nice. So mm. Okay, moving to, well, I think, well, please keep writing. And Andrea, if you don't mind, could you read your sentence? I want to hear this with your voice. Would you mind to do that?
Theatre can be a craft box for children, and we believe in the power of this box against childhood poverty.
Nice. Thank you very much. Kim, can you read yours?
Okay. Theater can't solve the child poverty itself, but we TYA people can highlight it with arts to the society.
Good. I like this. Myohi, can you read yours?
Imagination that theater give make them they want and dream to their life.
Good, good, nice. Sorry, again, I can't read.
Kiona.
Corona.
Kiona. Am I right?
Yes, it's Cleona. The DH, the letter DH is silent in the Irish language. So it's actually Cliona. So it's Cleona.
Cleona. Okay. Thank you. Can you read yours?
Yes, I just have another message in the way here. Hang on now. Theatre arts have the power to raise awareness of the issue of child poverty in areas where this is less visible. theatre arts have the potential to provide a moment of beauty in a child's life where their actual reality may be very different. Theatre can be a tool to document and provide impact studies to governments to understand the value of theatre programs in terms of prevention.
Nice. Thank you very much. Peter, would you mind reading yours? You need to unmute.
I think it's really good that we are addressing this theme in a broad sense. I can't really write my manifesto right now, although I did so much thinking about the topic while we were working on Money Matters. Maybe my manifesto is in there.
Okay. I will try to watch that play.
Yeah, I think you can access the whole thing on Dropbox. It's not my area, but I think you can do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Rebecca, can you read yours?
All right. Theater has the efficacy to bring children out of every strand of poverty, if only its custodians willed it.
Thank you. And now, Rebecca and Myung-hee, we have 5 minutes. Could you, not summarize, could you tell what you have learned from your group and your session? Who go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always the first. Actually, many thoughts and many feelings come and go now. So I can be looser, please understand. At first, actually my heart trembled because I felt agony and sorrow of other countries' artists. So I feel helpless. And also same time, we are colleagues. Of course, we met a few days ago and we are in all different countries. But I can empathize. And of course, it's his or her whole sorrow or agony, but it can be also my agony and sorrow. So it was my first emotion and thoughts of this session. I'm sorry. And I think about the overcoming. What is the overcoming? At first, I think about poverty. How can I solve the poverty? By my art, by our art. And after that, I think about what is the overcoming? What is the meaning of overcoming? My acting or our theater can give them money or food. I don't know now, but so I write in my manifesto, a theater can give the ability to dream and imagine and to make them they want to live their life, own their life. Don't forgive. No. I'm sorry. Not give up. Not giving up. So I believe in the power of story. I think we don't need money to imagine. Poverty can't forbid to imagine us, or we imagine. So I want the art and theater can be the value, natural value to given, can I say that, given to the children. I don't know who can give, I don't know, the government or very big people, I don't know, but it can, I want to fair and equal value, it can, theater can be fair and equal value to our children. So I think one practical thought, I think it's important to let them come to the theater, the children, but I think it's important we go to where they are, because it can be different opportunity, they come to the theater, but if we go to them, it can be same opportunity to them. So I want to go to children. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I had such a feeling, the same feeling as you before. That's why I wanted to discuss this in this forum. Rebecca, could you talk about your what you have learned?
Okay, thank you very much. First, I want to say that today has been amazing. It's one of the best sessions I have attended since the beginning of the NG program. I've listened to people with so much open mind talk about the state of poverty, and as well as the works they are doing in their different countries to tackle poverty. Therefore, I would narrate what I have learned in just 3 statements, so I don't take your time. One is that poverty is relative. It is perspectival. It is different to different people across different nations. Also, I have learned today that poverty is not necessarily what you can see, because it could be visible or invisible. Finally, I have also learned that we can do a lot when we reach out, when we collaborate, and when we continuously work with the people who have access to the right statistics, like the government, the NGOs, CSOs. You know, that is the only way we can actually measure the level of work we are doing and become effective. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to another session with all the great minds here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then I want to introduce one more poem. Peter wrote, "The rich get richer, can you read your poem?" Beautiful poem, finally.
I've already done my point. It's just that's the song from the show is the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's a matter of fact. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Must it be like that? And that's in the show. And basically what we learned, I mean, it's very disgusting, but you know, if all these big companies paid their taxes properly, if people did pay taxes, it's properly, and if people did responsibly go about their wealth, the world would be a better place. And I think part of the fight, that's where we get back to Cleona, to your point in a way, really is to address the big time issue of all these companies who are amassing wealth, and like Amazon and Google and Microsoft, and keeping it all for themselves, and not spreading the wealth. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Thank you very much. And now 7 o'clock. So thank you very much for attending the forum. So when I joined Stage, the president mentioned to us, you fight in your country, you do arts and fight to protect children. You are not alone. This is an organization we individual artists gather and fight for the future. So let's work together internationally and change the future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.